All right, let's camera Barstool Loki season 2. Honestly, season 2, the end of the series finale is what it seems like. To Loki, pretty well hyped show. Did big things, kind of helped kick off the whole Disney Plus era. This is widely considered the best of the Disney Plus shows, and it wraps up with a pretty big bang. Is this the end of Tom Hiddleston as Loki? I'm guessing no. I don't really care what he said. He'll be back in Secret Wars. People are already saying that that's the case, but he's seeming to tell people he will not be. That this is the end of his arc, at least the larger storyline of Loki. We'll cut right to it. Spoilers. Wild episode. You see him go all the way back in time to the finale of the first season, where it's him and Sylvie with Kang, or excuse me, the He Who Remains, the Kang variant, and with He Who Remains, Sylvie kills him, and the whole universe is set into this unreversible, unfixable motion. And that's what Loki realizes, that he has to go back and find a way to time slip to where they killed He Who Remains. And He Who Remains basically laughs in his face and said, I told you this was all part of the plan. This is still part of the plan, which is, I think, a really cool moment in the show. It's a great finale. And the rest of the episode is him having to figure that out. And then Loki eventually sacrifices himself, and he becomes the keeper of time. He becomes the god of stories, and he is the one that has to save the branches and saves the branches and makes it look like the tree of Asgard, right? The sacred Asgard tree. Very cool final episode. He's a hero now. I mean, he kind of was before, but now he goes in this whole story arc from being this mischievous villain, this guy who runs the Battle of New York, the ups and downs, becoming a new character, finding himself. He slips in and out. He talks to Mobius in a flashback scene. But I love the finale of this show, and I think it ends perfect. And I love him traveling back to that first season and fixing and righting the wrongs of where they were, going back to the He Who Remains scene, which is still an awesome way to end the first season. And it does end. Well, reference of Variety said, they said, like, it sets up Kang, and they do mention Kang a little bit, but it kind of closes the book on Kang if they want to. They even reference Kang the Conqueror. They're like, hey, how are all the He Who Remains variants? And they say, oh, the 616 variant, or the one from a 616 parallel, was taken care of. That references Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Basically says that Kang was nothing. That was a nothing Kang variant. So I have no idea why that Variety article, or whoever referenced saying that they couldn't get out from underneath it, makes no sense. Like they're in a completely different direction.
To the person on our subreddit who is mad that we were like kind of, brushing off the Variety article, this is why. That's why. Because it was like, it's kind of obvious reading it. If like you read through it, it's like, this feels a little slanted in some certain spots. And yeah, of course, this made no fucking sense. Not a lick of sense.
No, like they have an opening. If they want to continue with Kang, they can do it. But like they chopped down the Kang the Conqueror. They basically said it was like the thing that's done with. Like they reference it, like they're like, oh no, the He Who Remains variant in 616, Earth 616, which is what they were discussing, the 616 timeline. That's the MCU, or how they reference it. It's a whole confusing thing. Point being, they moved on from it. If they want to go back to it, they can, but they don't need to. Like Loki is that guy now. He's that dude. Loki is him, as the kids would say. He's keeping the time and the universe is in line. So yeah, I don't know. That was odd. Someone clearly had an axe to grind with Marvel in that in that whole thing. But I like how it ended. What'd you guys think? Any other thoughts on the finale?
I think that we had issues with this season as it went through. I still think, and I'll hold to it, that season 1 is far and away better than season 2. But I do think, as far as like landing the ship goes, season 2, this was about as awesome as a finale as you can get. And as far as you're talking about like how like big finale conclusion scenes, the scene with him like bringing all the timelines together, that's like one of my, I think, more favorite scenes Marvel's done in a very long time. And you include both just the actual visual look of it with the score. I mean, We talked about this before, Gooch, too. Just like, how the fuck did Natalie Holt do this, but then also Obi-Wan? Makes no fucking sense how she makes like one of the most powerful moving soundtracks in all of Marvel, but then also like the worst in all of Star Wars. Makes zero sense. But yeah, so like this I think is a very good closing of this chapter. And I think as far as much as I would like to complain that they threw too much shit against the wall and were way too confusing in a lot of different areas throughout this season, I think they found a good way to kind of like condense everything a little bit more and like close the loop. You know what I mean? And maybe that's kind of on a meta scale what Loki is too, in a way, where it's like, hey, we blew up all these 50 trillion timelines into all these middle things, and we need this central loom to process all of these into this one single timeline. And that is kind of what they do in the end of this episode too. So maybe that's just kind of explains that in a way. But yeah, I really liked a lot about it. And I do think just that final little shot of him on the throne, and then the callback to somebody had pointed this out too in Avengers, right? Like Tony Stark says to him, like in that big scene in the penthouse, he's like, yeah, there's no reason to this where you come out on top. There's no throne. And like that final little sequence of Loki on the throne with all the timelines and shit. That's cool. That's just great shit.
Yeah, no, outside of the rest of the season, I mean, I don't see how you can say this finale was anything other than excellent. It was fantastic. We did a draft of, listen to it after this, a draft of our favorite time travel stuff. And in terms of time travel stuff, they nailed it here. Very, we said live, die, repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, as the kids like to call it, in a way. Going back and just going through the motions until you can like expertly do it, almost becoming a god in that sense. Like the gag of how long would it take me to learn these physics? It's like centuries later. That was great. But it does feel like the first half of the season probably could have been condensed down quite a bit. Looking back at it, you almost wish that this had been 3 45-minute episodes. Probably would have wrapped up a little bit nicer, paced better in a way. Less confusing for sure. But it all came together at the end. Like Kid Jack mentioned, the score just whoo. When that shit started to crescendo, ooh, baby. That was awesome.
The theme with Loki is fucking great. It's so much better. And again, it's like everyone's focused on the negative with Marvel. It's like keep doing stuff like this. Get creative, take risks, write good scripts, get good actors. Like there's so much here that works well with it. And it's like it's risky, quote unquote risky storytelling, because it's different and it's not straightforward, but it's complex and it works. Like your audience is smart enough to accept and understand that and watch it and like it. Keep doing that. It's really good. It's like the whole series is fucking great. Some of the best things Marvel's ever done. With an awesome character. So yeah, I like how it wrapped up. They didn't jump any sharks. Nothing too wacky. Makes perfect sense. I just the whole scene him going back and dealing with He Who Remains, just kind of laughing at him like buddy, like this is not going to work for you. Like this is just this. I saw this coming.
I've been out on Kang since the season 2. Everything we've seen from Kang, I've kind of been out on him since the season 1 finale. Sorry of Loki. This is the Kang that like I think we want. Like that.
Well,
Kang
he was great in the season 1. Like the season 1 He Remains was amazing.
Yeah, the He Who Remains is fucking awesome. Like he's so like it's so good. Like it's so playful and conniving and just masterful. Like I don't know. Like if we can get that Kang in the MCU as the big villain. Fuck yeah, let's do it. But like Victor Timely, Kang from Ant-Man, like get the fuck out of here. That Kang though, he can stay.
Like, it may be a tough character to pull off in live action. It really might be. It might not be a thing that works. That could be the case. There's so many descendants and random things with Nathaniel Richards and He Who Remains and Kang, and it could just be too messy. But no, I think Loki landed the plane. Which that's been a problem with these Marvel shows. They have not landed well, and Loki did it twice. In the whole series, both seasons are perfect, bookend perfectly. If you've not watched it, if you've been turned off by Marvel stuff, like I think it's a huge mistake. Watch Loki.
Yeah.
Watch Loki season 2, rewatch Loki season 1. It's great. It's good stuff. That's it for a while now with Marvel.
Echo. 6 weeks.
Really? 6 weeks?
Very interested to see how that works.
Right, it's the beginning of January, first week of January.
Yeah, I guess it is 6 weeks away. We are near the end of November, but still a little bit. It's off for a little while. There's not a ton in 2024, but this is a good end for Tom Hiddleston in the Loki role as a constant. I assume he'll be back in Secret Wars. That would make sense. There's the timelines and the universes. There's too much going on there for that character to just be on the sidelines. So that is it. Drop your thoughts below on Loki season 2 and Loki as a whole, the whole series, theories, when we're going to see him next. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're on YouTube, like the video as well. For Jack and Gooch, I'm Jeff D. Lowe. We'll talk to you next time.